Is pressure treated wood okay to use for raised garden beds? We're going to discuss this today because I've gotten way too many of you leaving comments on my video about my raised garden bed side hustle saying that it's dangerous and that you shouldn't build them out of that. I'm also going to have a few links below to sources, not all the sources I used, but some of the sources, including finegardening.com and oregonstate.edu. Believe it or not, I did do research on this subject before I started building raised garden beds out of treated lumber. Now, I understand that your comments come from a place of caring and wanting to be helpful, but they also come from a place of old knowledge not keeping up with current methods. When I first started woodworking and construction type of projects, this was the common accepted knowledge and the advice given. Don't use pressure treated wood for raised garden beds. Don't use them for children's playground equipment. Don't use them for anything that could potentially be having regular skin contact, and don't use them for inside the house. And there was a good reason for this. The pressure treated wood of the time was treated with CCA, or chromated copper arsenate. And the issue with that is the arsenate, which contains, surprise, arsenic. And as many of you probably know, arsenic is super toxic for humans, and it's also toxic for most plants. Both ingestion and skin contact with arsenic is dangerous, with extended skin contact being shown to potentially cause cancer. And that's exactly the reason why kids' playgrounds weren't supposed to be made with arsenic, because they're afraid of kids getting cancer from touching the railings or what have you. On a side note, this is why historically wood pallets were also considered pretty dangerous to work with, because they were often treated with the same arsenic-based treatments so that they would last a lot longer. Plants could also be potentially killed by arsenic, and even if it didn't kill them, if you had phosphorus deficient soil, the arsenic that leached from the wood into the soil could then be intaken by the plants and passed on to humans when humans ate the vegetables or fruits. And obviously this isn't something that you wanted, because again, arsenic in any form is toxic. But due to these dangers, in 2003, using arsenic-based pressure treating was actually outlawed. And in 2004, they started using a couple different methods that were no longer had arsenic in them and were considered much safer. The fact that this only happened just in 2004 explains why so many people still believe that you shouldn't use pressure treated wood for raised garden beds. I'm assuming that there's probably also a lot of people who think you shouldn't use them for children's playgrounds still. But again, they're different substances at this point. 2004 wasn't that long ago, and unfortunately these type of changes often don't widely get recognized, so people just go with the thing that they knew or heard at one point because they never got the update. Now, the two new substances used to pressure treat wood are ACQ, or alkaline copper quaternary, or CAB, which is called copper azole or azole, or I'm not sure how it's pronounced, to be honest, but it's copper azole. Both of these act as a pesticide and fungicide. The current scientific studies and consensus is that both of these substances are safe for raised garden beds and for children's playground equipment. The studies that have been done have shown no harmful side effects to these new methods, and have even shown specifically that, for instance, the copper that does leach into the ground does not have enough uptake in plants to even come close to being a dangerous amount for human beings. Still though, if you're somebody who has more cautious sensibilities, there's nothing wrong with that. and you can wrap the inside of a treated garden bed box with polyplastic sheeting. And studies have been done to show that that will keep any chemicals that do leach from leaching into the soil there. Or you can use something else completely, like cedar. The reason I use the pressure treated is the material costs are literally a third of the cost of the cedar. And I don't live in a high income area where everybody's going to be willing to buy cedar. Also, organic gardeners don't want to use pressure treated lumber to build their raised garden beds, and there's nothing wrong with that. The governing body that decides which artificial substances are okay to have in the soil that you grow organic fruits and vegetables in have not approved the pressure treated substances because they act like a fungicide and a pesticide, which, if you know anything about organic gardening, artificial versions of those are a big no-no. But you know what? It's also okay if you're someone like me who just wants their garden to grow and will throw pesticide and fungicide at their garden at the earliest sign of something that may threaten it. I'm also more than happy to use pressure treated wood, modern pressure treated wood, on my raised garden beds. I obviously wouldn't do it if it still contained arsenic, but modern pressure treated wood is more than fine for me. I do want to note though that it's still dangerous to directly ingest even modern pressure treated wood. So whenever you're sawing or drilling into pressure treated wood, you need to be wearing a mask, because breathing those dust particles in is ingesting it, and you don't want to do that. The reason I don't wear a mask in my YouTube videos is because I'm filming YouTube videos, and it's kind of hard to talk on camera and wear a mask. It just doesn't work. So while I'm filming scenes, I'm not wearing a mask. However, the rest of the time I do wear a mask. I even wear one when I'm cutting non-pressure treated wood, because it's generally just not good to be breathing in any wood dust, and my lungs will attest to that from when I was younger and dumber, so I'm much more cautious now. So there you have it. It is okay to use modern pressure treated wood in your raised garden bed. If you're an organic gardener following the official rules for that, then don't. And if you want to see my garden box building business video, there'll be a link for that at the end here. I hope you found this helpful, and if you have, please go down below, hit a thumbs up. Also, feel free to leave a comment